I'm Amy Zawi with the Jerusalem Connection Red Alert Report for Wednesday, August 14th. What about the academics? We have seen the BDS sanction movement, that is the boycott, divest, and sanction the state of Israel, the only Jewish state on the planet, take a strong hold in universities throughout North America and Europe. And we have even seen it reach down into high schools, middle schools, and even preschools. When will academics start to use their own principles to analyze and gauge the true nature and outcome of BDS and other anti-Semitic activities that seems to get a pass in an age of supposed tolerance, diversity, and acceptance? Well, it seems to start with a group of deep-thinking and articulate academics who can make a case and take it to the academic world. An anti-BDS appeal to the German government has been signed by top academics around the world and is gaining momentum in response to a pro-BDS resolution signed by 240 Jewish and Israeli scholars. So this is the interesting thing. Several hundred internationally renowned scholars have signed on to this anti-BDS appeal that is going to be delivered to the German government in August. Wolfgang Bach has noted that we've started collecting signatures and the number of supporters are growing every day. Wolfgang Bach is the head of the German section of Scholars for Peace in the Middle East, and it co-initiated this petition with the German NGO called Democracy and Information. This is in response to a resolution that the German government adopted as a non-binding resolution on May 17th, rendering BDS as anti-Semitic and calling it to the German government to withhold from a BDS movement member any public financial assets or use of public facilities. And this is in follow-up to a group of 240 Israeli and Jewish scholars in June who sent a note to the German parliament condemning this anti-BDS motion and called on the German government not to adopt it. Well, this new group of people is now calling on the German government to make the non-binding resolution that they already passed into a legally binding resolution. Now, the June response to the resolution denies the anti-Semitic character of BDS and renders measures against it as an infringement upon free speech, and it challenged the assumption that current BDS appeals declare that this is an anti-Semitic movement. The current anti-BDS appeal says statements by scholars who present BDS as legitimate and peaceful concern us deeply, for they misjudge the most dangerous form of anti-Semitism today, which is directed at the state of Israel, a living sign of Jewish life in the present and the only refuge for persecuted Jews. By seeking arguments in favor of political legitimacy of BDS, they promote, quite certainly without intention, anti-Semitic forces throughout society. In addition, this anti-BDS appeal points out that the objectives, methods, and arguments promoted by BDS actually match the internationally recognized definition of anti-Semitism, as noted by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. A quote from Monica Schwartz-Feisel, one of the appeal's main signatories: "I think it is outlandish when people say they don't see anything anti-Semitic about BDS." She goes on to say that BDS promotes ideas that are detached from reality and demonizes the state of Israel and aims for its destruction. When she was asked about how she responds to so many Israeli scholars and historians such as Moshe Zuckerman, Amos Goldberg, and Eva Ilutz, who did sign the June pro-BDS petition, how she responds to them, her gentle response on the German radio program was, those three people are no anti-Semitism research. People may be educated and even be academics, but they haven't studied the contemporary anti-Semitism. They still tend to make ideological statements that don't match up with empirical research. Look at the texts and the actions by BDS. There's no doubt that they are anti-Semitic. Accordingly, these anti-BDS appeals state that to portray BDS campaign as anything politically legitimate is to misunderstand expressions of modern-day anti-Semitism. In addition, the appeal by the anti-BDS people condemn the notion that it is in any way infringing upon free speech or immunizing Israel against criticism. The authors all noted that that is denying reality. No other state is so massively criticized in the public realm as is Israel. As of July 21, the anti-BDS motion has been signed by about 400 supporters, among them some of the most prominent and of the high-ranking universities around the world. According to the petition's initiators, the number of supporters are signing on at about 15 per day. They are keeping the petition open for a few more weeks, and then it will be delivered to the German parliament. I'm excited for this because this international group of several hundred academics are providing a legitimate and reasoned response to the academic support for BDS and its legitimacy in our colleges and universities who do use public assets and resources to hold their meetings and spread their hate. Let's pray for these 400 plus signatories, and let's pray that this petition gets delivered to other governments around the world. Shavua Tov, and have a great week.